Hey everyone, Charlie here. I hope you're all doing well. Good morning and welcome to a new episode of One Cuppa. Before I really dive into it, I do want to make like a public service announcement about One Cuppa and what the Fukui. As you can tell, the weather has sort of taken a turn here. And today, actually, we've got a really beautiful morning. Sunny, really pretty, sort of light snowfall. So this is not a problem, obviously, for shooting these kind of videos. However, this is not a typical day here in Sabae in the winter. It's usually very windy and very rainy / rain and icy / super white out snowy, which makes it sort of less than ideal conditions for shooting these videos. So please bear with me. These won't be weekly as they once were until the weather gets nice again. And poor with the Fukui, which has been put off, this means likely it'll be put off for a little bit longer still. So apologies for that. Please be patient and bear with me. And I will do my very best. So anyway, this morning we are in, I think we're still in Mizochi. This is the area of the city where I live. I guess the big thing here is the Sabae Cultural Library, the Cultural Center and the Sabae Library. This is actually one of my favorite places in the city, both in the summer and the winter, because in the winter you can come here for free heat and study all morning, and then in the summer when it is too damn hot to breathe, can come here for free air conditioning, because as you may already know, the heating and air situation around these parts is not that great. The insulation in mansions in particular seems to be terrible, which means your energy bill from air conditioning and heating, is this thing on? Yeah, are you on? Yes, you are. So which means your bills for those things tend to be quite high, unfortunately. So, but yeah, what's nice about this area too is that it's changing, and it's changed so much since I've been here already. But there are lots and lots of rice field. Again, this is just left fallow right now for obvious reasons. It's freezing over. It's frozen over. But one of the really interesting things to see is how quickly the countryside changes. And I don't know if it is as quick in other parts of Japan, like in Gunma, where Jake Naughton lives, for example. But here, anyway, since I have been here, in the year I've been here, I've seen at least a dozen new buildings go up, most of them apartment buildings, some of them like dental clinics and things like that. And it's just really crazy to see how quickly it changes. Take a look at this stone wall. Now, we've been down here before, but not on I'm quite sure, on a One Cuppa, and certainly not in the winter when it has this unique sort of beauty to it. Now, you might remember, no, we can't see, but anyway, as I was saying, yeah, the development, right, and the I don't know if it's an improvement necessarily, but the changes that have come to Sabae in such a short period of time really blow my mind. Things that I think back home would have taken, well, X amount of time longer. So truly is a beautiful day. See, you can see like these there's an older, or at least an older style house up there. The way they jut out over this area, which previously, as I said, before my time, this area anyway, would have been rice field. So it's really interesting to see sort of the difference between now and the summer, because out here in the summer, I run here in the mornings in the winter too, but in the summer, once we get a little bit further out, this is where it's like one of the rare places where you can come and run around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And it's usually pitch black out here, which is a little bit scary. When somebody comes around the bend looking to kill you, and here comes a car, speak of the devil, step over here. And And yeah, it's a little bit scary out here at nighttime because it has sort of like that far back home would be like the hills have eyes type thing. Like you're gonna be like some crazed folk coming out here to like cut off my nads. I don't know. That's a weird thing to jump to. That's a weird extreme to jump to. What's going on here? Can I go up and around? Yeah, it looks like I gotta go back this way. Some kind of, it's like a car broke down. I can go behind him. Okay. But in the summertime, as I was saying, come out here night and it's pitch black, but it's perfect for being able to see wait a second here. Ohayou gozaimasu. Ohayou gozaimasu. Hi, okay. But yeah, it's that environment, sorry, it's a little loud probably, makes this a perfect area for seeing fireflies. Right now, if you've seen any of my writing before, you'll know, well, anyway, if you've seen this piece of writing before that I wrote about actually running out here in the fields with a firefly, you'll know that fireflies here are in really big trouble. Now that I mentioned, I wonder if I've talked about it on the channel before, but anyway, fireflies here are in really bad trouble just because of so many other species, right? Basically human destruction of environments, breeding grounds, things like that. So there have been a number of campaigns launched both on a local and national level to sort of save these different species of fireflies. Sorry, I'm nearing like a community center and there's a band playing over there. I thought for a second they were playing like a orchestral version of My Heart Will Go On, which seems a little unseasonal, if not downright strange. But back to the fireflies, which admittedly is a strange thing to talk about in in the winter, but here we are. So, as the tale of the samurai or of the firefly go, there are two warring clans. One being the Genji, the other being the I can't remember the name, but anyway, something that starts with an H. I'll link the article in the description below if you guys are interested in checking it out. But as the story goes, these warring samurai families were warring. That's why they're warring families, of course. And when they killed each other, they were left to they were cursed to, don't know, to continue their fighting forever, right? In ghostly, ethereal form. However, the two very big, I guess more famous species of firefly here took on the names of these clans because I suppose you can see they're sort of like these floating, glowing embodiments of the spirits of these dead warriors who are doomed to continue their struggle for eternity. So, really interesting. Now, you longtime subscribers will have seen this view before. I don't know when I came out here last, but it really is beautiful in its own unique kind of way, isn't it? I don't know, I suppose you have to. Many people don't go for sort of gray, snowy landscapes, of course. They are my thing. I really love this sort of gray and blue tone time of year. I also love it when it's warm, don't get me wrong, but Buffalo / Rochester fellow in me can't help himself. There are two places I really want to show you this morning. The first, well, I don't know if we can get to both of them, to be honest with you, but anyway, just throw a snowball at me. The first we're going to that we may go to, is a very cool looking, I think it's a temple, a Buddhist temple, but have to wait until we're there to confirm it. Very old, very cool architecture, sort of unique looking among the shrines around here. Cool, like pond area up front that's unique in its design. And alternatively, which is the one we're more likely to go to, there's like a viewing platform that will give us a really, really nice view of Sabae and the surrounding mountains, although those mountains are drowned a bit in fog at the moment. So fog and snow clouds. So let's see, I think we can go up this way. It's really cool to see. I haven't shown you yet, but there's all these little winding pathways, these narrow streets that go up the side here away from the rice paddies. It looks a bit more impressive, I guess, when you're up here and looking down. But anyway, ooh, Jesus. You can tell I did hill work this morning. I am very sore. But other Japanese news. Getting a little cold, so let's put on a hat here for a second. Can I do this? Can I do this? Okay. What was I saying? Oh, Japanese news, right? So, paying attention to the news, or if you are a fan of Japanese, like, pop cultural news, you will have seen that the two really, really big stories here, right? Like, the one is of the much talked about breakup of SMAP, or I should say the potential breakup of SMAP. Like I don't know, I'm not like a fan of idol groups in general, as I'm sure I've made perfectly clear on this channel many times, but anyway, I know this group because every week I watch their SMAP, ex-SMAP TV series, which is basically like these four guys get together and cook dinner for and play games with celebrities who are out promoting their new shows or whatever. And anyway, so this group, it was rumored they were going to break up, right? And it caused like insanity. Like there was fire and brimstone raining from the skies. Like it shut down Twitter. Like the response after I'm sorry, let me take a step back. Like SMAP eventually made this post that, you know, basically saying, oh yeah, sorry to cause everybody so much grief and trauma and whatever, but we're gonna keep on trying our best together, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but anyway, so they made this announcement, and such was the response that it broke Twitter for a little while here. Which, whatever. Ooh, somebody built a snowman over there. That's cute. I'd show you, but there's a fellow cleaning his yard, and it's a little too dangerous. Danger zone! But the other piece of news, of course, for, oh, I don't know, the past 2 weeks, it seems like, no, way too long, gozaimasu, has been Becky. No, Becky is this half Japanese, half British TV personality, Tarento, right? Who anyway, she was found out to be having a relationship with a married singer of this band I don't give a shit about, so I don't remember what they're called, but and that's been the really, really big news. But why it was so scandalous to me is that she had to apologize, right? The single woman who still did something wrong, I will say. But the single woman who got involved with a married man, she says unknowingly, had to go on TV and apologize. And I forget how many times she bowed her head, but there was a big to-do in the news because she bowed her head so many times to show how to show how sorry she was to her, particularly to her sponsors, right? Because she's probably going to lose a bunch of contracts over this. But yeah, the guy has, the singer involved in the story has said nothing. Has said absolutely nothing. And so, as far as I can tell, he probably will not have to say anything. That's just sort of, I would say that's the culture here, but let's be honest, that's the culture everywhere. Let me get over here before I die. And the reason why I bring these two things up is that SMAP, for a while, the news about SMAP sort of canceled out the interest people had in what was happening with Becky. But now, there's been like a recent development where, as far as I can tell, somebody got into Becky's Line messages. Line being like the Japanese version of WhatsApp. Very, very popular messaging app that like everybody uses, so. And anyway, there was like more discovered, so now she's back in the news, and I feel bad for her. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I've made clear why, I hope. But, okay, we're almost to the viewing platform. Hey there, cute dog. What's up? He is giving me the don't come near me or I'll eat you eyes. Now, the other big piece of news, and I don't want to steal Wikipedia's thunder on this one, but Utada Hikaru is confirmed to be coming out with a new single here in April for a new drama. Linked to Hiki's video where she talks more about that news in greater detail. But I was really hoping, I was really, really excited to see that Utada is coming out with a new CD, a new song. But B, I was really hoping that it would sort of kick SMAP off the pages of Japanese newspapers and off television, and Becky as well. And sadly, that has not happened. Some construction workers getting to it. That's the thing. And I think going back to what I mentioned before about the quick transformation here, in the States there is at least to my observations, like there's a construction season, right? Like right now, nobody builds a house right now in the winter. Here, people are doing shit year round, man. Year round. Like there's a new shopping center area being put up over there, which I'll show you the general area here in a second when we get to this viewing area. Hey look, Anpanman. One thing you'll notice if you come here and walk around, and this is true of I think pretty much every place I've just sort of wandered in Japan, there are tons of areas with signs like the Anpanman one back there, and many other different characters which are safe zones for children to go if they're in trouble, where the store owner, the homeowner, whatever, is then charged with calling the police and taking care of that child until someone, the parent or the guardian or whomever, can come and take care of business. Let's take a little detour up here. Because, now I know I shouldn't be so interested by this considering that we're in a country where rice is like a staple food, although that is declining. But here, there is a shop, the Kuma's, the Bears rice shop, that not only they specialize in selling rice. Now I don't want to get too close to there because I've asked if I can film in there before, but actually I'll get a little bit closer. Now you can see over on the right hand side there's a green sign with like a cat on it, right? Now that is a sign for Takubin, which is like a high-speed package parcel service here. Very, very efficient. They will get you packages from like one side of Japan to the other in a day. It's not hyperbole. And the other sign, there was like a little girl, like a yellow sign with a little girl on it, sort of dancing around. That is a Hyakutoban sign. 110 is the number, 110 is the number you call to get the police here. So children can go there again if they need a safe haven. Oh my god, this house is beautiful in the snow. Look at this. Love it, man. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day, although my loins are starting to get a little frigid, admittedly. Now, back to that rice shop. Not only do they sell rice, of course, but they also sell like homemade rice products. Everything from rice cakes to miso made with rice grains in it, to toasted rice green tea. Oh man, so beautiful here. This mossy tree, like, how gorgeous is that? The mix of mossy green with falling snow at that old house in the background. Behind her is a small shrine, but I think actually it's a private family shrine, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, we're nearing the end here, so I want to pick it up a bit, but there are a ton of these houses around here, as you guys have seen and commented on in a lot of past videos. Really, really beautiful area. I can't really stress that. Enough. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is we're nearing our vista, our cement vista is snow on my nose. That's not the thing I want to talk about. Last weekend, really for the first time, I was treated to what I'm told by the people who treated me to this, that I experienced the true, like, Japanese style of eating and drinking. Now, normally when I go out, my Japanese friends go for a couple drinks and then go to karaoke, or after that, just one more place to eat or have a couple more drinks or whatever. But I've never felt completely blasted, like completely destroyed, and then had to continue on during the night. And so what happened was, now I can show you Sabae here, and I'll continue talking, but this is Mizochi. Sorry, the fence is kind of in the way, but that rabbit there is a children's clothing and toy store. Let's see if we can get close enough to the fence. What the hell is that noise? Huh? What's that noise? Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Anyway, so yeah, so here is Sabai. I'm gonna make somebody think I'm about to shoot like a missile launcher at them from up here, right? Let's see. Smart thing to do would be to go from the bridge. But sometimes I am super derpy. Now over there where that book off is, not too gone. More like over there where that blue squarish, cubic rather, because 3D, sign is, there is a new like little shopping complex going up, and I'll show you guys that next time. That's just sort of, they're constantly wetting the soil over there so that it makes it easier to dig, right? And they're wetting it with warm water for obvious reasons, warm salinated water for equally obvious reasons, I think. And they're still building throughout the winter, which is just, yeah, just something I wouldn't be used to seeing back home. So, right, let's get back to the drinking, because who doesn't want to talk about that? Now, as I said, before I just go into like a couple places, typically 2 hour to a 2.5 hour night. By the end of it, you're pleasantly sort of drunk. I don't necessarily know why. I tend to chalk it up to the fact that it's probably really exhausting being friends with me as a Japanese person, because my Japanese is so katakoto. If you don't know what that means, I will link a description. I will link in the description and on the video annotation to Jenny Silver's Japanese IRL videos where she explains what katakoto is. But yeah, just my broken Japanese, there, I just explained it. But anyway, go check out her video. Where I go and explain, what am I talking about? But yeah, so it's just really exhausting having to talk to me for more than 2 hours, I would imagine. If it's anything like having to speak in a foreign language for 2 hours that you're not, you know, when you're not fluent in it. But this past weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, first I went out with some of my ALT friends, And that was an experience. But then the next night, someone who's become a very good friend of mine, who I've talked about before, who's the owner of like this local izakaya, was like, all right, well, we're going out. So first, him and some other people he's friends with that I've made friends with from going to his shop so often, we went to a hot spring in Takefu, which is a city about half an hour from here. So went to the onsen, got a little naked, you know how it goes, and after that, after soaking in the sauna and like being revivified in a way I've never felt before, except when I've run really long distance. Those of you runners out there, the onsen, if done properly, will make you feel like you have a runner's high without having to run 10 miles. So that's a plus. So after the onsen, we go to this place in Saba called Pizzolino, which is like an Italian tabe hodai, all-you-can-eat place. All you can eat pizza, all you can eat really good pasta, all these other things. It was like for my American friends, and I think maybe Canada, anyway, like it was like if Olive Garden was all you can eat. It was like that kind of food. And so all together there were like 6 of us, and we ended up working up like this $190 bill, which my friend had ended up taking care of for me, which was really, I was blown away. But like he just kept ordering beer after beer, and between us we took down 2 bottles of wine, and I was like, all right, clearly this is where the night ends, right? Like there's no way anybody's gonna be able to go and do anything after this except go home and sleep. But that was not the way of it. Following this, where each of us had 6 beers and multiple glasses of really piss poor Chardonnay, but it was really cheap Chardonnay. We then end up at my favorite karaoke place over here, which I'm gonna make a video about going to karaoke solo soon. Look out for that. And go there, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna do an hour of karaoke. We're not gonna drink anything. It's gonna be fine. Nope. Go there, and immediately there's beers being delivered. There's just as much food that appears. There's like being at Hogwarts where Dumbledore claps his hands and suddenly like the bowls fill with all these delicious things. It was like that. 2.5 hours of karaoke, right? So start the day going out together at 3:30 p.m. Get home maybe 1 o'clock or so, and I was dead. And I have not ever, well that's not true, in 5 years, probably about 5 years, since before I graduated from college, I have never been that obliterated. Like where I was like missing parts of my night, which were later filled in by my friends. I was like hungover the next morning and I had to go buy a bike, and I was like this whole thing, and it was like, and yet it was the most amazing experience. And I'm told again that this is the more normal way of doing things, not the go out for like 2 hours and then call it quits type of thing, which I guess is probably more typical on a work night, which is I guess when I normally go out with people, so that might make as much sense. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to more of that, especially now that, I don't know, I've talked about this before maybe, but I have plenty of friends, but maybe now 3 close Japanese friends. So now I'm really starting to get an idea of the way things are done in social circumstances. So anyway, it's actually pretty perfect timing. Here we are. This is where I live. Surrounded by rice fields. What's nice is that you guys have seen me tweet about Hard Off and Book Off before. It's literally like a 7-minute walk that way. which is very, very dangerous if you're trying to live on a budget. And my apartment is just right here. So anyway, guys, thanks always for watching. Again, thank you for your patience with the delay on these One Cuppa videos. As you can see, this is getting more like normal Sabaya weather. My hands is cold. And yeah, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support in the new year. And yeah, see you guys very soon indeed. Cheers.